Well, hello, and welcome to this edition of Utah Libraries Have You Covered here at the State Library for the Blind and Disabled recording studio. I'm Jeri Openshaw, along with Jason Powers at the controls, and we are so very lucky today to have Cara Rothman, our boss. So we have to be really good. We have to take good care of this one. She's here with us today. Welcome, Cara.
Thank you for having me.
And
I'm excited to be here.
Welcome to Utah as the Utah State Librarian. Welcome.
Thank you.
That's a pretty nice title, I think.
Sure is.
Yep.
It's a little humbling.
Oh.
I know it's a big job.
It is a big job.
A very important job.
Did you have any idea what a big job it would be?
Somewhat. But I'm kind of a leader from behind kind of person. And when I got here and getting to know all of the staff that are here and how they've really kept the ship afloat in the interim, they did such an amazing job that it makes my job a lot easier.
We do have a terrific staff on so many levels. They are all very good. Well, let's go back a bit. Where are you from?
I grew up in Connecticut, and I most recently moved here from Massachusetts, which I had been living there since 2014.
Wow. Do you love it there?
I did not necessarily love it, but it was close to family, and New Englanders have a New England thing.
They
It's
do.
a little bit
I've been there.
hard to explain sometimes. I mean, New England has, I will say that Massachusetts in particular has amazing public libraries. Really, they're very well supported in a number of ways by their communities at the state level, both financially and by their use. And they're really, really valued across that state.
Some great museums, too.
Absolutely. And the history there is pretty incredible.
It is amazing. So here you are in Utah. Well, that's a big jump. How did you make that decision?
So I first came to Utah in 2010 to go skiing with my dad and absolutely fell in love with it. And it became an annual trip out here. And every winter I would come home from that trip and start looking for a job.
Really?
I thought to myself, I can be a librarian anywhere. It finally came all together. There was a series of events in life that made it all come together really nicely. I am absolutely thrilled to be here.
We're glad you're here. So glad you like it. What was it that drew you here? Was it the mountains, the people, the snow?
Definitely the snow. I'm going to start with snow number one. In the Northeast, we're just not getting the same amount of snow as we used to. Same here. However, there's still quite a bit of snow that does come here to the mountains. Just the diversity of the landscape is pretty amazing from down in Washington County all the way up to Weber County. It's beautiful in all different kinds of ways. My dad and I also did a few photography trips around Utah, landscape photography. So exploring the state a little bit further beyond just the Wasatch Front was another thing that sealed the deal, that this is where I belong.
You just cannot beat the diverse landscape, the red rocks, the snow, and best snow on earth, I have to say. I'm a skier from way back. Never skied on better snow. And I've tried.
Yes, it's that's what I've been told. Where we're living right now, our neighbors and our new friends we've made all embrace winter and love to ski. And we've kind of found our people.
Our people. So you've been here about, 6 months?
6-7 months, yep.
And what has been the most startling revelation to you about maybe working at the state library or the Utah people?
I've been overwhelmed with how welcoming and generous people are here.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's been a really positive experience.
That's great.
I had some hesitation of New Englanders have stereotypes about each area of the country and whether that would mesh well here. And I think that it has. And I'm really impressed with all the public libraries that
it's true
I've visited and can't wait to get to.
Yep.
I think that the library directors and their staff are making it all work.
And so dedicated.
Absolutely. And being creative and really being a resource to their patrons.
True story. Well, this isn't a test, but let's talk about all of the programs within the Utah State Library. And you're beyond getting your feet wet now. I think you're fully matriculated into knowing what we do.
Thank you.
So
I hope I am.
At least we see that you are fully matriculated. So let's start a little bit. Now, we had Marilee Cannon on, and she talked a lot about development. Let's touch on development one more time, and then I'd like to talk a little bit about all of the programs that we offer here and how people might be able to take advantage of them and how we help libraries.
Sure. We'll start with development. That team helps the public libraries and their directors and staff on a daily basis. They're the direct connection between us and them. And they help in a variety of ways with training, funding, ensuring that they're meeting all of our standards to make sure that libraries are giving the best possible service to their patrons.
And a great support group in consulting.
Absolutely. And we have their specialty areas. So youth services, technology and innovation, grants, training, and our data coordinator position.
Let's talk a little bit about grants. We got into that a little bit with Marilee, but let's talk a little bit about how crucial grants are to our libraries in this state.
Absolutely. There's two types of grants. So we are the stewards of state-funded grants and federal-funded grants. And our state grant is called CLEF, which is the Community Library Enhancement Fund. I'm glad I remembered that acronym this time. There's lots of acronyms. So the legislature gives us that money each year, and then our public libraries that have been recertified each year get a certain amount of that funding that's based on their population and their budget. There's a couple other factors that we put into distributing those funds. And they are somewhat limited in what they can use that money on. It's collections, some minor capital improvements, specifically for ADA compliance.
Right.
Some of the buildings across the state are old or they're historic and they need to be kind of retrofitted for those new requirements. They also can use it to upgrade or enhance their technology offering.
Right. And then there's IMLS.
Yes, the Institute for Museum and Library Services.
Good for you.
Another acronym I remembered. And they distribute funds to all the states. And we take those funds and we create different grants, competitive grant rounds that school and public libraries can apply to across the state. It does get complicated, and it's a lot of money to manage.
Sure.
It's a 2-year-long budget, and the fiscal years are typically a fiscal year behind what our current fiscal year is, and they run on a different timeline than we do at the state level. So it gets a little complicated. But they are essential to basically offsetting a lot of their costs. And
technology especially.
Absolutely. And ensuring that they're up to date, that their collections are full and broad and deep, that they're offering the programs that their patrons need, and being really, truly a community resource.
Yep, they're essential. Those grant dollars. Hope they stick around because we sure do use them and need them here
Absolutely.
in our state.
And the librarians they make every penny work in the most effective way.
And we have Amanda Rock, who does our social media and includes now, or tries to involve all of the libraries in our social media campaigns, which I think is just so fun.
Absolutely. It's one of the goals I had coming into the job was to help promote libraries, period, and really publicize the work that they're doing and creating more awareness that libraries are not just books anymore. Mm-hmm. Not that they ever were just books. And if we can help at our level promote and create awareness about all the services and programs that library offers, hopefully we can keep promoting how essential they are.
That's right. And on that same vein, I think something that's a little bit misunderstood are our bookmobiles and how much they offer. And it's not just books. They offer a multitude of services. Let's talk a little bit about our bookmobiles because they are crucial in these rural areas that we cover.
We currently have 4 bookmobiles, the actual vehicles on the road. We serve 8 counties, and we contract with those counties. The bookmobiles and the actual vehicles and the headquarters libraries are providing service to Utahns that live in unserved areas of a permanent public library. And that is the mission and the goal of the Bookmobile and Rural Services Program, to bring library services to residents that don't have access to a public library that's within a reasonable distance of their home.
We have the headquarters, which are part of the Bookmobile program, and then we have libraries on wheels in the trucks. Explain a little bit the difference between those.
Sure. The bookmobiles on wheels, the mobile libraries, travel to different stops that are in communities, parking lots. It's really fun to see them out in the wild. I accidentally stumbled upon 2 different ones along my travels across the state. It was very exciting. So they have a schedule. Every 2 weeks they go to each stop. And on the actual bookmobile are shelves of books and media, and there's Wi-Fi available. There's also programs that occur through the bookmobile as well. And the drivers are almost like local celebrities.
That's true.
You know, the kids and even the adults, I think their perception is that the driver lives in that bookmobile.
That's right.
And that is their home. And it's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love that. Those stops are dynamic. So in different seasons, the stops may change. So during the school year, some bookmobiles do go to elementary or middle schools, and that's their library because their school building does not have a library. And watching the kids come out of the building and line up like little ants across the parking lot.
So excited.
So excited. And then in the summer, when school's not in session, they may relocate that stop to a local park, for example. I'm always impressed with when I attend those bookmobile staff meetings. You got to bring your tissues because
it's true.
The impact stories they share are heartwarming and inspiring.
You and I were in the same meeting last week where they were talking about some testimonials from bookmobile patrons. And seriously, I wrote them all down because they were so touching. But homeschoolers, those books, those resources are so crucial to homeschoolers. And there's a lot more homeschooling down there than maybe up here. There's a lot of it. Troubled teens, they have to have books to check off parts of their program that help them get through. And I was really touched.
And those bookmobiles really are mobile libraries. So they have access to interlibrary loan options. So we are able to get them the materials they need. And the headquarters act as a permanent library. They are typically in collaboration with a local municipality, a city or a town, which is a really wonderful partnership that we've built with those different locations. So we can run regular programs out of that. It's another place where we can offer our collection. It helps offset the collection that's on the actual bookmobile, and those materials can be swapped in and out.
I think that our hope is to continue the service, continue the bookmobile service, and actually enhance the bookmobile service. I think in the future there will be maybe some differences, but hopefully still libraries on wheels.
This is a huge priority for us right now, and I've been collaborating with Marie Erickson, who runs the resources program, and Jamie Carter, our bookmobile leader. And we're working on kind of reimagining some other options. A menu of rural services is the direction that we're going in, and figuring out what that looks like.
It's great. We help libraries, public libraries, run a bookmobile program. We have an amazing resource called Utah's Online Library. So let's talk a little about that. There are so many programs you can access, like you can do car repair, homework research,
crafting,
on and on. Everything, crafting.
Right. We have quite a few databases, a huge collection of online databases, from newspapers to articles to videos that are instructional. And those are available to you as a Utah resident through our website and through your local libraries' websites as well.
And a library card.
Also, the Beehive Library Consortium, we support and kind of facilitate that. It's downloadable audiobooks and ebooks through the Libby app. And I've just been told we hit just over 6 million checkouts.
Closer to 7 million.
Excellent. It's in high demand.
It is in high demand.
It's invaluable.
It is.
It really is. And that's a great, invaluable resource to rural Utahns as well.
Correct.
So I love it personally. I have a kind of a long drive, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. That's a focus too, that the price of those digital resources is very high, and we're trying to be creative in figuring out the future of that funding as well.
There is a wait.
There are long waits.
Books. Yeah, and others you can pick up right away, but sometimes there's a wait.
And being patient. And other things come along while you're in the wait.
It's
true. Also in resources, we have a really fun program called Book Buzz.
Yes.
And that is available to the general public through the state library and through your local libraries. And it essentially is a book club in a bag.
I love that.
And we have a certain number of copies of a title, and it's a physical book, and we have hundreds of titles to choose from. And on our website, you can find all the instructions. It's very simple, 3-step process of reserving it for your book group. And you can pick it up here in person, or we can send it out to you.
Just mail it off to you.
Yep.
Ray Schumann runs that program. She's great. We do have a lot of books to choose from for your groups. Okay, what else in resources did we?
Interlibrary
loan.
And which seems like an old-fashioned kind of service. You know, you hear that ILL, which is library lingo that we use, another acronym. But it is still extremely important today. So it's a great resource for libraries to offset their collections. So many libraries are limited in space and budget, and this is another way for resource sharing. So we can get patrons titles from across the state or across the country.
I was going to say across the country, absolutely.
I just visited the Hiram Library, and one of the staff there was sharing a story of how our interlibrary loan librarian, Sarah, was able to get very obscure articles and books from actually Massachusetts. And some were emailed and some were actually snail mailed back to Utah.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is. Librarians are very generous and resourceful individuals, making sure we're getting people the things they need.
So before we go on, we need to talk about the program for the blind and disabled, which is a winner here.
Absolutely.
Yep. We need to talk. Let's talk a little bit about you've visited how many libraries in our state so far?
Just over half. So I think I'm around 40 libraries.
Well, applause.
Yes.
That's terrific.
It's been an adventure and inspiring. We've in the news lately, libraries are kind of getting a little bit of a bad rap here, and I'll have to say each visit I've had has been extremely positive.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Utah public libraries are thriving. They have amazing directors and staff that are positive, and their boards are supportive, and they're still getting funded.
Great.
So it's the mainstream media is not doing us justice.
It's true. And I think the thing that we always have to keep in mind is that they go so much farther than books. They are way beyond books. So many resources in a library, programs, computers, training.
Gathering places.
Community centers. Yeah, books are kind of crucial, but the main target now.
Absolutely.
Whole different side of the library world. And our library world here at the State Library, Utah, has the world's largest Braille and audiobook library right here in our state.
Fun fact, if you're ever on Jeopardy.
It is a fun fact. So Library for the Blind and Disabled program, let's chat about that.
It's our largest staff,
right,
that particular program, and we have 2 large warehouses where that Braille collection is stored, and this is where we send out Braille and audiobooks to Utahns and many other states west of the Mississippi. We also offer Braille services where we actually Braille items. We have a whole team of readers advisors. And when you think about public library, kind of that traditional model, they're very patron public facing. And they answer the phone all day long.
It's a human.
Yes. And they answer questions, get people connected to the materials they need, register new patrons for the service. And Jeri, am I forgetting anything else?
Well, we have a volunteer program that's very awesome. And if I'm putting this out there, if you'd like to come in and volunteer, we are recording from the part of the library that let you come in and record books. We usually do authors of local Utah authors or books of local interest here. We record. We also have a program at the prison, and inmates record books for us. But we are always looking for volunteers to come in and record books. So if you feel like you want to be part of that, we'd love to have any of you come in and record books for us.
And those recorded titles get added into a larger collection that people from all across the U.S. can access.
That's right. It's called BARD, and I never remember what it stands for, but Braille. Yeah, so the Library of Congress is where. So you come in and record a book, and it goes with your voice right to the Library of Congress, which I think is commendable.
Absolutely.
It's sort of like ILL. They request a book, and if it's not in our group of books that they can find either on BARD or Braille or whatever, we can record it here. That will also go into a Braille version of that book. We've actually had children's authors come in, and they'll record the book, so that goes onto the Library of Congress website, and then we Braille the book. So you got 2 options there.
Talk about customer service.
That's right.
You ask,
we deliver.
We deliver.
That's right. It's just as simple as that. That's the one program that is definitely public-facing.
Absolutely.
You can come in and pick up audiobooks or Braille books, and they're huge. So you can come in and pick them up. We can send them to you. And we probably process about 2 tons of mail a day, except on holidays where we've got an extra day, and then it triples. So it's a lot of stuff being sent out.
And we also offer large print.
And large print, of course.
Any visual impairment, it qualifies you.
That's right. And if you fall off your bike and you can't use your hands, you qualify for this service. But you do have to qualify for the service. You can be dyslexic or have macular degeneration or blind or losing your sight, all of those things. There's a whole list of things that help you qualify for this service. Okay, future plans. What is your future? What do you see for the Utah State Library?
I think we're headed in a great direction. The future looks bright. One of my goals I mentioned before was the marketing and promotion of public libraries and supporting them in that way. Another piece to that is our rural services and having that evolve. And there's a lot of nostalgia for the large bookmobiles, and it may need to evolve. And those vehicles are hard to maintain. They're very expensive. And I think we have some great new ideas on how we can evolve that.
We'll share those later.
Oh, definitely. Once they start to come to fruition. Absolutely. I'd love to talk about that. Another piece, too, for the future of the State Library is continuing to build our team here and having us work very cohesively and start to think more forward-focused and more strategically, too, and how we can take all this amazing staff and knowledge and passion and dedication and make our services and programs even better than they already are.
Perfect. So what is the overarching theme when you go out and visit these libraries? What do they think about the Utah State Library? What is the bottom line?
They are so appreciative. That's the word I hear every single visit. I'm so appreciative of what the state library does for me as a library director, for example, and the grant opportunities, the training opportunities that are available at no cost to them. And it's a really invaluable service.
Especially for those libraries that are so small that they're run by one person. And
correct. That library director wears all the hats. And if we can save them some time or provide them some type of support, that's what we're here for.
Okay. We've pretty much, have we missed anything that you can think of? Any programs or any great services we haven't touched on? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think we've covered it. It's been fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And we'll have her back on.
Absolutely.
Yes. This is not the last you've heard of Cara Rothman. She will be back. Thanks so much, Cara.
Thank you.